Today we're going to be installing a 6.0 intercooler into my 2002 7.3. There are going to be two things you're going to have to order. Obviously, I got an intercooler here. This is from a 2005. Just note the early 03-04 inlets are 3 1/4 or 3.25, where some of the 05 to 07 style inlets can be 3.5 inches. So I'll leave a link to these two intake boots in the video description. These are diesel products out of Washington. These are the adapter boots you guys need. So the cold side is just a normal 3 inch to 3 inches by 8 inches long. And then the hot side is 3.25 or 3 1/4 down to 3 inches. Right, there's plenty of videos how to get your grill off, pop this front valance off. My grill is held in by a couple Phillips head screws. If you guys saw the last video where I installed that grill light bar, you guys saw how I took all this apart and I trimmed all this. So next thing you need to do is go ahead and take these AC condenser upper brackets off. These are 8 millimeters. Then we need to slide the condenser and just kind of slide it forward. And you guys can see here's our factory intercooler. All right, so get yourself a 10 millimeter. Right in front of the coolant tank, you'll have a 10 millimeter that the battery cable sits on. Go ahead and disconnect that. Same thing on the driver's side, disconnect that. That's what your bolts will look like. Now, keep in mind if your radiator, or excuse me, if your intercooler comes with the mounts, try to get it. If not, you're gonna have to reuse your old rubber mounts here. All right, so now we need to go ahead and pull the charge pipes out. I got both 11 millimeter bolts undone. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull these out, and then the whole intercooler is going to slide forward. And you're going to have to probably undo the transmission cooler down here if you guys have the aftermarket 6.0 upgrade. I also have a video on that on my channel if you guys are interested. All right, so this upper core support has to come out. So we need to undo these bolts here and those bolts over there. Go ahead, disconnect your hood latch. Go ahead and undo your brackets. You'll have an 8 millimeter there, 8 millimeter over here, and then 8 millimeters to hold this bracket on for your spare tire jack. Go ahead and take that off. You guys don't have to undo that coolant bottle. Just let it sit forward or backwards with the actual radiator assembly. Go ahead, undo your trans cooler. You guys can see there. Undo the condenser, just got it sitting here. And then make sure you guys get your cables out the way, right? And if you guys have one of these little guards per se, one of these little valance covers, you guys can throw it away or keep it. I'm probably just gonna end up chucking it because this one's already cracked, so. But once you do that, I've also got some relays. I just gotta disconnect the relay from this on both sides, and we'll keep your upper core support bracket. Now we can get this entire intercooler out. You're going to slide it between the air box. You guys still have the factory box and the radiator. And this side, just be mindful of the AC lines. You guys can move this out of the way. So just be careful, take your time. You guys, here it is, guys. Just pull it from the top and go ahead and undo this little extra bracket that's held on with these little lines that your truck has it. And this top line is flexible, so just, you know, finagle it. You guys can see, I'm going to blow all this shit off, but here is the difference between the stock and the 6.0. You guys can see that's pretty significant. I mean, that's a good 4 or 5 inches taller. And you can see, let me point this down some. You guys can see how much thicker the core is. This is like 2 inches. This is like 2.5. And you guys, there's a part number there if you guys are interested. But yeah, that's instead of adding the clamps, because they're like another $30 a piece, what I did was I took one clamp off the cold side, the ones that had the springs on it. I was going to try to use one of this style, but didn't have enough throw right there in that, so took one with the spring, loosened it up, and then you guys can just use a factory clamp that goes up to 3 1/4, that goes all the way down, no problem. So that'll fit it there, and then you can use your factory 3 inch there, 3 inch, and then just a 3 inch. So get it easier, go ahead and use your rubber mounts if your intercooler didn't come with them. So I just took them from the old intercooler. And the cool thing about the 6.0 intercoolers, they're a little bit narrower, but they're much taller than the 7.3, so they literally just slide in so much easier. And there's two little legs that they sit on, one right here, and then there's another one right down there. You guys can see they sit right in those little notches, and you guys can go ahead and reassemble everything. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, slide the boots in, and obviously we're not going to use all 8 inches here. All right, but you guys, so we're putting the pipes back in. I went ahead and cleaned this one up a little bit. So you need to go ahead, and at least in my case, I had to cut 2 inches off of the hot side. All right, so 2 inches did the trick. You guys can see we're right against the knurl, to stop it, and then it lines up on that spider, no problem. So 2 inches was really an easy swap. It's taking me maybe just an hour. So again, go ahead, valence cover back on, put your battery cables back under there. Go ahead and put your two 10mm bolts back in here, one on each side. Put your 13mm bolts, two in the front and two in the back, four on each side of the core support bracket. Go ahead and put your black clamp on back for your AC lines. You want to keep this on there so they don't chafe around and rub against something. Go ahead and make sure you guys clear that clamp with the radiator hose down here in the bottom of the coolant reservoir tank. Go ahead and put your two 8mm up here, and then go ahead and replace that one, which I have not. Put your two 8mm there, 8mm there, and that'll hold the radiator nice and tight. And then literally it's just a bolt-in swap, and you guys can see it matches in no problem. Go ahead and put your bolts back in for your 6.0 transcooler if you guys did that upgrade. Go ahead and put your upper brackets back on for your AC condenser. That should be nice and tight. And go ahead and put your valence cover back on, and go ahead and use all 8 inches of the cold side intercooler boot. You do not have to trim that one. Other than that, you guys are good to go. Button everything back up, take your truck for a ride, and tell me what you guys think. My EGTs are dropped about 200 degrees, which is what I was going for. I'm in this swap less than 180 bucks, a couple hours of my time, and it's been nothing but pros, no cons here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember, leave a like. Please comment down below. Make sure you guys subscribe, click that notification bell. Also, give me a follow on Instagram, guys, at Powerstroke Boys. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned. Make sure you guys subscribe, because the next thing for my truck, we're going to be swapping over from the mechanical clutch fan to a set of electric fans to free up all this room and give us a little bit of extra horsepower. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.